The year has ticked by to September, so that means it's time to answer questions that $5 or more supporters asked in August. If you'd like to participate by asking a question this month for me to answer at the start of October, links are below. Let's start off on Patreon, where Michael Kremer asks, how do you feel about revolutions? I've heard some people say that while they aren't unjustifiable since our rights are being violated, they can be impractical. What's your take? My supporters really like asking questions that could get the FBI smashing through my front door. It is absolutely the case that when a government becomes oppressive and violates the rights of its people, there is a moral argument to be made for resistance, and violence against the state can be justified. However, let us never forget that violence is the tool of the state. The whole point is that these power-hungry narcissists want a monopoly on violence over their geographic area. And as a result, they are good at it. So it's a bit like stepping into the ring with Daniel Dubois. The other issue with that is how a violent revolution appears to others, or is made to appear by government propaganda channels. The best way to manage that appearance is to keep violence to defense only and cultivate social acceptance of the idea of using lethal force in self-defense, even against the police. In the United States, the Supreme Court confirmed in Bad Elk v. United States that citizens have the right to use force to defend themselves against unlawful arrest. Unfortunately, most courts and jurisdictions simply ignore this one. State's gonna state. But there are alternatives. Gandhi and Martin Luther King showed us the value of civil disobedience. Agorism is a tactic where peaceful market activity is engaged in, absent the channels where the state could normally intrude. But mostly it's just going to take an attitude among a significant portion of the people of, we're not going to take it. Once you have that certain critical mass of people with that attitude, no state can survive. Of course, there's also the very real possibility that your new system you put in place will be just as bad, if not worse, than the one you did so much to topple. That's why, no matter what, principles are paramount every step of the way. FunwithFacts asks, what are your thoughts on reparations for things like slavery, the conquest of Native Americans, and the like? Show me someone who enslaved someone else, and I'll make the former pay reparations to the latter. Otherwise, it's just another form of theft. Individuals are responsible for their actions, not their descendants. Native Americans are a different story because they're still being oppressed, but not by people, by the government. I'd be in favor of ending the reservation system, giving them full political autonomy over their land, and going to every single politician who voted for that crap and every single bureaucrat who enforced it and making them give up a sizable portion of their personal fortune to them. Those are the only reparations that are valid. Dickin Myanus asks, as a statist, what was the last thing you believed government was necessary for? As a full-on statist before becoming completely libertarian, the Americans with Disabilities Act was the last big government program I believed in. When I saw the way it had been corrupted and how bad a failure it was, even when it wasn't being corrupt, I was like, how can you screw up that? That's what finally showed me that there was no hope for big government programs. No matter how good or how important or how justified you think your government policy is, it's simply not going to work. You might have the perfect way in your mind that it could work, but government doesn't care about you. Politicians are going to use that policy for their own ends, twisting it and distorting it for their own advantage. They're not going to ask for your opinion. Even when you do get that rare politician who genuinely wants to do good, the reason why they sought that position is that they were narcissistic enough to believe that their way of doing things is better than others, to the point where they feel they get to use force to put it into action. If anything, that can be worse than the corruption. You're far better off dealing with that in the private sector, where you know your money can be put to the best use. Well, that's it for another month, so thank you so very much for watching. Comments for the comment god, shares for the share throne. Please hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and check out other videos on my channel and like and share them as well. And of course, go to donate.pagosity.tv for all sorts of ways to support, including PayPal, Venmo, cryptocurrency, or become a regular supporter at Patreon, Subscribestar, or Discord to get these videos early and ad-free and participate in live streams and AMAs like this one. Thanks again, and until next time, stay strong and be free.